This is how I make orange pudding cake with blueberry sauce and vanilla chantilly cream. The orange pudding cakes come out of the oven all puffed up, and after they've had a chance to cool to room temperature, the air escapes them, leaving a delicate self-saucing pudding on the bottom of the jar and a fallen soufflé-like texture on top that soaks up the blueberry sauce like a sponge. I added a generous tablespoon of blueberry sauce and topped the pudding with a rosette of vanilla chantilly cream using an easy whipped cream dispenser with a decorator tip. Chantilly cream is a French term meaning sweetened cream, and to make vanilla chantilly whipped cream, I added a tablespoon of powdered vanilla sugar and half a liter of high-fat cream to an easy whipped cream dispenser and charged the container with compressed nitrous oxide gas. Served with a demi-tasse spoon, this delicate soufflé pudding is delicious and fun to eat. This is how I make 3 125 milliliter single-serving orange pudding cakes. I scaled 15 grams of stone ground all-purpose flour and set the jar aside. I scaled 15 grams of room temperature butter and 30 grams of cane sugar into a small mixing bowl. I scaled 15 grams of vanilla powdered sugar and set the jar aside too. I grated the zest of an orange with a kitchen rasp, careful not to grate my fingers on the cutting surface. The zest is where all the flavor is, but I want to grate the exterior of the zest only and avoid the bitter pith that lies beneath it. I cut the orange in half and squeezed out 30 grams of orange juice into a 125 ml mason jar. I added 60 grams of high-fat cream, the orange zest, and gave the mixture a little stir. I separated a large egg between a clean mixing bowl and the mixing bowl with butter and sugar in it. I placed the bowl of egg white on a towel to help hold the bowl while I whisked a little air into the egg. I added the powdered vanilla sugar and continued to whisk. Whisking a single egg with sugar into a soft meringue takes several minutes. I do this by hand, but mixing the egg can be done by using a stand mixer as well. When I whisk, I want to incorporate air, so I whisk in a long circular motion. I use powdered sugar so the sugar is absorbed into the egg faster. Whisking for several minutes of time is like exercise. The more you practice, the easier it gets. When soft peaks are easy to form and the eggs look like soft meringue, I set the egg whites aside and switch bowls to prepare the rest of the batter. I creamed the butter, sugar, and egg yolk together for 30 seconds and then mixed in the orange and cream until smooth. I sifted the flour over top of the liquid and gently mixed the flour into the batter. I added the egg whites in 3 additions, folding the egg whites into the batter gently. I do not want to overmix the batter because that would allow the trapped air in the meringue to escape. The trapped air is what gives the pudding its soufflé-like texture. I placed 3 125 milliliter mason jars in a frying pan and divided the batter between the 3 jars. I poured boiling hot water in the pan to come halfway up the glass jars. The water bath allows the batter to cook at 2 different temperatures. The dry heat cooks the meringue into a soufflé on top, while the bottom part that is submerged under the water bath stays saucy-like. I cooked the batter in a 325 degree Fahrenheit oven for 40 minutes. I like to use a frying pan as a water bath because the handle makes it easy to transport the cakes to and from the oven. I did not open and close the oven door while the puddings were cooking because that might cause the soufflé to fall before it has finished cooking. A self-saucing pudding should not be undercooked batter. When the pudding is cooked through, it should be lightly browned, starting to crack and be domed-like on top. I allowed the pudding to cool on a wire rack to room temperature before serving. I made the blueberry sauce sous vide style. I scaled 150 grams of fresh blueberries with 15 grams of local honey into a food saver bag. I sealed the bag using a vacuum sealer. The vacuum sealer removes all of the air from the bag and creates a watertight seal. I cooked the berries in a water bath with an immersion circulator set at 85 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. I cooled the sauce in an ice bath before putting the hot sauce into the refrigerator to cool completely. I added the blueberry sauce to a blender top and processed until smooth. I passed the blueberry sauce through a fine mesh sieve and into a small mason jar. Stored refrigerated in an airtight container, the sauce will stay fresh for several days.